Car chases are some of the most spectacular yet simultaneously dangerous crimes on public roads. It's rare to witness something like this in real life. In some countries, federal channels interrupt regular programming to broadcast these events live, even from a helicopter. The most incredible, astonishing and mind-blowing chases are featured in our video. At the end, we have prepared something truly remarkable for you. I wish you an enjoyable viewing experience. What do you think a chase is? On public roads, it's a situation where the police or other law enforcement agencies chase a vehicle that is breaking the law or which is involved in criminal activities. During the chase, police can use flashing lights and sirens to attract attention and try to stop the violator. A chase can occur in cars, helicopters, motorcycles, bicycles, and other vehicles. In helicopters, can you imagine that? There are even live broadcasts gathering tens or even hundreds of thousands of viewers. Incredible! It's important to remember that such situations can be dangerous and safety rules must be followed by both police and the driver to prevent possible accidents or injuries. We will definitely talk more about this soon. Keep it in mind. So, how does it all start? The question here is rhetorical. A chase can begin at any moment. Yes, no joke. For example, while driving on the highway in a car, an announcement says, "Drivers of such and such color Mercedes, pull over to the side of the road." At that moment, every citizen is obligated to pull over and stop at the first request of a police officer. But then you decide to hit the gas. From that moment, you literally become a criminal and a threat to the lives of other road users. There can be many reasons, but statistically, 90% of chases begin after a driver fails to comply with the requirements. The remaining 10% are related to so-called planned chases. For example, you have already committed a crime, or you're already driving at high speed in the wrong lane. The officer will of course order you to stop, but honestly, it's just a formality. The chase started long before this, for obvious reasons. I've never really thought about this. Maybe I should delve deeper into jurisprudence. Perhaps I'm violating the law without even knowing it. Keep in mind, chases don't always happen immediately. Sometimes after the traffic violations of another racer, the police remotely do their job and catch the violator right away. This actually happened in St. Petersburg, Russia. Perhaps you've heard about the famous Skoda Octavia flight. If not, let me remind you. Not to stray too far from the situation, this driver is famous, if you can call it that, in Russian circles. Some time ago, he became popular from videos that were uploaded online. The Skoda Octavia, speeding over 125 miles per hour, evaded six police crews. Surprisingly, he managed to escape the chase at that time. But as in most cases, the violator was caught and brought to court. Scenes like from a high-budget movie. These actions are not heroic. All this might seem interesting, even fun to some extent, until you are the one who gets hurt. Don't popularize city center races as something that should happen regularly. Think about it the next time you write a positive comment under such videos. Car chases can have serious consequences for both the pursued and those around them. Some of the possible consequences include road accidents. During a high-speed chase, there's a risk of road accidents for both the pursued and other drivers and pedestrians. Disregarding traffic rules and dangerous maneuvers can lead to serious injuries and even fatalities. During a chase, the driver may lose control of the vehicle due to high speed, incorrect turning, or collision with an obstacle. This can cause dangerous situations, including veering off the road or overturning the vehicle. During a chase, the vehicle may collide with other vehicles, buildings, fences, and other property, leading to significant material losses. The driver involved in a chase can be arrested and face court. Depending on the country and jurisdiction, the consequences can include fines, loss of driving privileges, imprisonment, or other sanctions. Participating in a chase can cause stress, anxiety, and trauma for both the pursued and witnesses. This can have long-term psychological effects, including post-traumatic stress disorder. And what about punishments in different countries? We haven't quite covered that. The punishment for evading a chase varies across countries and depends on the legislation of each specific country. Here are some examples. In the United States of America, evading a chase is considered a crime and is punished based on the severity of the crime that led to the chase. This can include fines, loss of driving privileges, imprisonment, and even criminal prosecution. In the United Kingdom, evading a chase is also a crime and is punished according to traffic legislation. This can include fines, loss of driving privileges, imprisonment, as well as criminal prosecution. In Germany, evading a chase is also a crime and is punished according to the German Penal Code. As in the previous countries, fines, loss of driving privileges, and imprisonment. In summary, the punishments are mostly very serious. There are no leniencies for anyone. It's hard to imagine situations where such violations can be justified. Perhaps if someone is in a dire situation. Maybe they are helping someone, driving a woman who lost consciousness to the hospital. In that case, exceeding the speed limit might be justifiable in theory. It depends on the situation. That's my personal opinion. Finally, we move on to the most spectacular chases of the 21st century. Let's start from the dullest, if you can call it that, to the most incredible. Kicking off the 6th place in our list, a highway chase. On June 27, 2023, around 2:30 p.m., the Arkansas State Police Dispatch received a 911 call about a silver Lincoln car moving southbound at high speed. The police chief was nearby the incident location. A few minutes later, he was informed of the violation. As the car passed by, he reported trying to catch up to it. The violator's car was traveling at over 120 miles per hour, continuing southward. At one point, one of the officers decided to perform a pit maneuver, hitting the left side of the car. The Lincoln spun 180 degrees and crashed into the barriers at high speed. Within a few seconds, the suspect was arrested. During the search of the front seat, a bottle with a clear brown liquid, presumably THC cannabis oil, was found. A smoking pipe was also discovered on the driver's seat. Emergency medical services provided first aid to the injured. California. An 18-year-old teenager wanted for murder in Texas and 2 minors were arrested after an incredible and aggressive chase that ended in Santa Clarita area. According to the Los Angeles Police Department, officers began pursuing the driver at 4 p.m., who was believed to be armed. The suspect was driving a vehicle resembling a Cadillac Escalade with Texas plates. The SUV had been stolen from Texas, where all 3 suspects originated. At one point, the driver was traveling at speeds along Highway 170. Then he turned off the road and called 2 other suspects. Cameras captured one of the fleeing individuals attempting to hide but quickly jumping back into the car once he realized the police were approaching. The chase lasted about 15 minutes before 2 of the suspects were ultimately apprehended. Later, a pistol was found on Route 118, although officers were unsure who it belonged to. Car theft. Los Angeles. A man crashed into a sheriff's patrol car, rammed other vehicles, and stole several transport vehicles during a desperate attempt to escape on the streets of Orange County. At one point, it was noted that the suspect abandoned one stolen car and broke into a family's home, trying to hide. There were family members and pets inside the building. A fight ensued. Afterward, the violator stole the keys to a service truck, broke through the gates, and escaped. During the chase, the suspect was pinned by a police car. Instead of surrendering at that moment, he reversed the stolen vehicle and again crashed into the patrol car. Eventually gaining enough space to turn around, he fled once more. The incident lasted almost an hour and a half. Live on air, people discussed the chase and shared their emotions. In the end, the vehicle crashed into a gas station where police could finally surround and arrest him. Fire broke out under the truck. Bank robbery. Suspects in a Bank of America robbery right after 10 a.m. were pursued south on Highway 5 by Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies. 2 of the 4 robbery suspects jumped out of the car to escape. The other 2 remained in the SUV. Police continued to chase. As they reached South Los Angeles, the suspect in the back seat threw money out of the window. Residents ran out and grabbed the cash even in front of police cars. It's not every day someone drives through the city throwing out money, a witness told the police. The suspect's car was stopped at Vernon Avenue at 11:23 a.m. when it was pinned by a silver truck. Police immediately pulled both suspects out of the car. Residents clapped and waved at the violators. Chaos reigned at the scene. As reported by the police, some people returned the money. To this day, this chase remains the most discussed and incredible in the history of chases. Ever wanted to see what a chase is like from the first person, especially from the perspective of the violator? There's not much information available. I know that the chase takes place in New York. As for the car, I can't give any comments. Judging by the sound, it's something truly powerful, around 300 or 400 horsepower. It all starts in the first minutes of the video. The video's author is stopped at an interlabel in New York City. Johnny Boy, our main character, decides to hit the gas. That's how an 8-minute chase begins. The average speed in the city is around 60 miles per hour. 3 minutes in, turning right, Johnny Boy finds himself next to the highway. Unfortunately, traffic doesn't allow him to escape due to heavy congestion. Grazing barriers, signs and other structures, he manages to briefly pull away, hitting over 70 miles per hour on the shoulder. At the 5th minute, a police officer attempts a pit maneuver, trying to collide with the main character of this video, but to no avail. Barely passing a truck, he overtakes a taxi driver who fails to give way to the police. This gives Johnny a few extra crucial seconds. Moments later, the car enters the city center, where after a few blocks, it manages to escape. The video ends there. With over 800,000 views, the video was published on September 21, 2023. I think you've probably heard of this chase at least once. In my personal opinion, it doesn't get better than this. A whole scenario for a full-fledged short film. Los Angeles. A dangerous high-speed chase involving a stolen Jaguar. During the chase, the suspect was driving at speeds of over 100 miles per hour when traffic lanes were mostly clear. The chase didn't stop until the driver reached the streets of South Los Angeles and abandoned the car under 110 freeway, making it difficult to see which direction the criminal left the vehicle. The Jaguar slowly rolled down the street amidst traffic. Traffic at Manchester Avenue and Main Street had to be blocked. Besides driving a stolen car, authorities say the driver was wanted for assaulting an officer with a weapon. The way this person thought to abandon the car and run out from under the bridge deserves respect. Knowing that a helicopter was following him, transmitting information to the police, quite a feat. The separate reaction of the police officer who ran to the car in hopes of making an arrest also deserves attention. He was so disappointed. That's why this chase is at the top of the list. In conclusion, I'd like to add, police chases are dangerous and inappropriate behavior. They create risks to the life and safety of all road users, including the drivers themselves, passengers and pedestrians. During pursuits, accidents can happen, often leading to serious injuries and even death. The desire to escape from the police never justifies the risks. Never. If you are stopped by the police, it is recommended to cooperate and follow traffic rules. If you have objections or disputes, they can be discussed in court or other legal institutions. Safety and compliance with laws should be a priority for all road users. Take care of yourself, follow the rules, be careful. Until next time, bye-bye.